Hey, good morning. It's Thursday, February 17th. I'm a little off-center camera because I want you to see the dawn that is literally breaking right now as I'm talking to you. And I'm just blown away by the work of God, the strength of God, the beauty of God, the delicate things that God does, and the powerful things that He does. And just a few hours from now, just beautiful heron just flew by. Just a few hours from now, probably less than an hour, this sun will come up. The heat will interact with the atmosphere, and we're going to have a very windy day here. And this beautiful, smooth river behind me will be choppy and probably get whitecaps in just a very short period of time. All at the plan and design of God. God is a master creator. He builds works of art. He builds works of art in people. Our children are works of art in progress. Now, before you start thinking I'm wandering off the deep end here, hang on. We've got to use this as our standard. Remember, we looked at 2 days ago, children of people. And we saw in Psalm 139 that each of us were fearfully, wonderfully complex, made and knit together by the person of God, the hand of God. We are His workmanship, as one translation says it. David rejoices in that. David hasn't forgotten that he was, a sinner from birth, that he came forth from the womb speaking lies, but neither has he forgotten what God made him to be. David is an image bearer of the King. You are a son or a daughter of the King. And however messed up you may be and how easily we lose our way, all of us, the King calls us back because He is our heritage. You're a son of the King. You're a daughter of the King. That heritage is yours to claim. Don't lose it. And then David, the same David, no stranger to the evils and ugliness of sin, encourages us in Psalm 8 this way. When he considers the heavens behind me, the work of your fingers, do you see this? The very fingers of God are crafting what we see here behind me. It just needs to blow us away. What is man? What are humans that you are mindful of him? The Son of Man, that you care for him. You have made people a little lower than heavenly beings, but you have crowned your sons and daughters. You have crowned them with glory and honor. And then you made these people that you have crowned, sons and daughters of the King, you have made them to be ruler over everything that God has made. God has made them. I'm just quoting David, saying, you, God, you made them ruler, the one to have dominion over everything. That's not just, it includes battle, but it's not just battle. It's the battle of the heart. It's the battle of the broken heart. It's the battle of winning over sorrow. It's the battle of knowing, as Psalm 30 says, turning our weeping into dancing. That's also being ruler over the creation. But there's one more component to this beautiful story. In the book of Ephesians, Paul is writing at the direction of the Holy Spirit, who is writing at the direction of Jesus Christ. That's what the Bible teaches, John 16, any number of places. Jesus Christ is telling the Holy Spirit what to write because you and I need to hear it. So the words of Christ in Ephesians tell us that we are God's workmanship, right from Psalm 139, right from Psalm 8. And that workmanship is the Greek word poema, and it carries with it the idea of works of art. We are works of art in progress. The fingers of God are working in our lives to bring about this beauty, if we could grasp it. What's happening behind me this morning is what God has for each of his people, each of his sons, each of his daughters, because they're your sons and daughters of the King. One more connection. The passage that we use in parenting to manipulate and control our children. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. But then he says, if you do this, it will go well with you. Why will it go well with you? Because you are in sync with the purposes and plans of the King for what he made you to be. You see, if we tell our children things like, if their idea of obedience is clean your room, eat your beans, don't embarrass me, and don't stay out too late. How exciting is that? And if that's an idea of parenting, if that's what we convey to our children, why would they buy into it? But if we can help them buy into the glory of what you see behind me, you see the very fingers of God, according to Psalm 8, creating this masterpiece behind me this morning. I wasn't planning on doing this, but God was. I wasn't planning on this time, but God did. And he's planned it from before the beginning of time. So in Ephesians, we are the works of God, the beauty of God, the poem of God, a work of art in God in progress, to do the things that he has called us to do, that he prepared for each one of us as individuals, each one of your children, sons and daughters of the King. God has prepared things for them to do. That's what we need to be teaching them about in obedience. The beauty of obedience. Yes, they should be respectful. I'm all for that. But more importantly, they should be blown away by the wonder of God who has called them to do what's going on behind me. Be engaged in the artwork of creation, of bringing new life to a broken, messed up world which has decided they don't need God. We have to give our kids something different than just rules. That's what Colossians says. If it's just rules, all they do is produce more garbage and more sin. But if it's this kind of beauty, if our instructions lead to this type of creation of beauty, wow. Each of our kids, God has this for us. Each one to teach them about. This is what parenting needs to be about. This is what it means that your children are people, that your infants are people, that your toddlers are people, your 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds are people, your teenagers, as crazy as they are people who can burst into the beautiful brilliance of the work of art that God has made them to be as daughters and sons of the King. I pray we would have that kind of vision in parenting and leading our children and valuing them just as God values them. Precious works of art to be involved in the creation of the things that God's called us to do. Just blows me away. No. Thanks so much for being here. Check us out, everydaytalk247.com. If you haven't subscribed, turn on post notifications. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for sharing this sunrise with me this morning. You have a great day. Bye-bye.